yacho kuchiridzwa mimanzi yacho DJ Proof ndati wedzere mawaksi DJ Proof vaudze munhu wese kundovhota ngapinde mukomana ngapinde chamisa uyo achinge apinda corruption ichapera. We need to change, we want to grow. New Zimbabwe, new beginning. Change ratio nepenyure vanhu ndokwatinodzidzwa nhau dzacho kuchiridzwa mimanzi yacho DJ Proof ndati wedzere mawaksi vari kufamba vachitaura anzi change ratio.
Yeah, let's start.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I was speaking on mute all this time. My apologies, our viewers and listeners. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Change Radio News Review, where we talk about the news that made the headlines during the week. And of course, we have plenty of data from our court hearing at the magistrate court to the Kenyans who brought the country to a standstill, and of course the memorial service for our comrade, our champion Boneni Ngube, in that will be going on in Lower Gweru tomorrow. We'll give you all that when we get started. But let me give a chance to my co-host here, Nyama Shisha. Please go ahead and greet our viewers and listeners.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on Change Radio Review. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much. We appreciate everything that you are doing. Yes, we were at the court, the Harare 79. There used to be the Harare 79. Now there are the Harare 78 because Jameson Timber's son was released. So it's now the Harare 78 and Senator Timber. They were due to appear on in court, as you saw, but something very weird happened. They never came to court. They were supposed to appear in court, but they never went to court. For the first time, the court or the regime decided to do what they called a virtual hearing. I've never seen that happening in Zimbabwe, and it just showed that they were insincere. It was like pre-planned. They knew that they were never going to release them. They were never going to give them bail. So the court proceedings were done when Senator Timber and the 78 others were in their cells. I don't think it's even legal, because they were supposed to be in court. They were not in court. And as we now know, nothing happened on that day. They were remanded in custody to the 27th of June, which is it to the 27th of June? No. To I think it's next week. I'll get the date for you. The 27th of June. That's when they were in court, and they were not given bail. Bail was denied. Bail, which is a constitutional right, which everyone should have, is guaranteed, especially if they've not been proven guilty. The 78 were not given bail. And before I give over to Nyamashisha and hear his thoughts on this, something happened that is very sad. One of the accused who is in jail, a young lady, lost her son. Her son died whilst the mother is in custody. And we all expected the state to release the mother, on those special circumstances, under those special circumstances, so that she could go and get, just to see or give her son her last respects, and see her son for the last time, and be part of the burial proceedings, and then go back to jail. That's what normally happens. The same way that happens when someone is sick or when someone is ill, they are given a special condemnation to go out and get help or and get the medical treatment that they want. And they do that under prison guard. You'll be moving with the prison guards, and then you go and get the treatment that you want. But this lady was not allowed to go and bury her son, and that was very, very unfortunate. It is said that the papers were submitted. Everyone at the prison, he had signed the papers, but they were supposed to be signed, surprisingly, by Emerson Mnangagwa. How is that even possible? How is that even a reality that Emerson Mnangagwa has to sign for something so minor? I could not understand it. That we are told, reports are saying that Emerson Mnangagwa did not sign or delayed in signing those papers, and unfortunately, the young man had to be buried. The mother did not get to go to the burial of her son. This is cruelty in its fullest form. That's the lady that I'm talking about is called Tambudzai Maku.
Okay.
And she's that lady that you see limping. She fractured her leg during the raid on Senator Timber's house, and she is in jail. And the son dies. They say lightning doesn't strike twice, but in this case, it did strike twice. Nyamashisha, you can, imagine the pain that the mother is going.
It's unfortunate incidents where in this present time, 21st century, we still have a government or a regime that is mistreating people. They are denying people their rights, because constitutionally the mother was supposed to attend the burial of her son, but unfortunately the regime and the authorities are playing a hide and seek game. So it's like at the present moment, Zimbabwe is under siege from the regime in a panic mode. As you see, those 78 colleagues or citizens of Zimbabwe were arrested, and they are on the 16th of June at a private residential area, whilst they were not committing any crime. They didn't have any form of weapons or anything that you can suspect that they can harm anyone. They did not disturb any peace from anyone around the area, but they were arrested and they are still incarcerated. And the regime is refusing to grant them freedom, though in the constitution it's a must that a person might be guilt until proven guilt. So a person, if he's arrested, he or she has a right to have to be granted a bail. But unfortunately, from the day when those colleagues were arrested, you find out they were beaten, they were brutalized by the police, and we witnessed when they went to attend the first court session, some of the colleagues were have got the damage injuries, meaning that they were brutalized while in police custody, which is very unfortunate and is unconstitutional, because if someone is in the hands of the law enforcement agents or the policemen, we know that that person is in safe hands, because the police, their role is to investigate, and if the person commit a crime, then the court should be impartial. So as we see in this case, even the investigating officer on the second court day, you understand that he said, I'm not attending this court session because my wife is not feeling well, is pregnant. So you find out the regime is persecuting people suspected to be members of opposition or people who are government critics. So the government is persecuting those people by persecution. As you are aware that our judiciary and our policemen, our government institutions are compromised, it's very difficult for people to get freedom in this country, because our government is now implementing punitive measures against the citizens. So as the people of Zimbabwe, we say no. We fought for freedom, and constitutionally, everyone has got a freedom of association. So the government, the court should give those people arrested freedom. As we are aware today, I heard some of the people from Kwazana, they were also arrested. Only 5 people are arrested by the police, and they were saying they were gathering without the police approval. While it's only 5 people, it's no more. They should not supposed to seek police clearance. Yeah.
Wow, thank you very much. I think the cases of injustices in Zimbabwe continue to escalate, and that's very unfortunate. Still on the court case, we saw our students rallying each other, our youth rallying each other and defying the heavy police presence at the magistrates' court and demonstrating staging a demonstration right at the court in front of the police. And this is exactly the response that our youth should be having, the response that Zimbabweans should all be doing. We need to defy the police. We need to defy the regime. Otherwise, the injustices will continue. We'll play some of the videos for you. Oh, those were some of the students that, and of course, the public in general that singing that timber must be released. Of course, Senator Timber and the 78 are not guilty. They did not commit any crime. You can imagine what Nyamashisha was explaining there, that 5 people were arrested in Kwadzana for an illegal gathering. You know, we are going to end up not even being able to make family gatherings. We are going to end up having to request permits or permission for a family gathering. If you are having a funeral, you are going to be asked to get a permit. If you are having a wedding, you are going to be asked to have a permit. That's the direction we are taking right now. If we do not take action, if we do not stand up, if we do not do something about this situation. And that takes us to another big issue that happened in Kenya, where we saw the young people in Kenya deciding to stand up against the government, against what they deemed a corrupt government that wanted to steal from the people using heavy taxes. And they protested against the intended taxes. And I want to salute the people of Kenya, the young people of Kenya, and at the same time, you ask and question, where are Zimbabweans? Where are the young people in Zimbabwe? Why can't we emulate what happened in Kenya? The Kenyans are made differently than us. Do we pray to a different God? Is our God lesser than the God of the Kenyans? Why is it that the Kenyans are more brave than us Zimbabweans? Why is it that the Kenyans can stand up against a rogue regime and us Zimbabweans, we do not stand up? I know the argument and the excuse that we always use as Zimbabweans is that we have a more cruel regime that kills. But reports reaching us are also telling us that in Kenya, more than 10 people were killed. In Zimbabwe, we tried to have a demonstration, remember, in 2019, yeah, you know what happened. 6 people were gunned down by soldiers. And from that day, nobody has ever gotten in the streets really to demonstrate, which means the regime has managed to soften us, to quieten us, to frighten us out of not getting in the streets. But the argument that our government is more cruel than other rogue governments, other dictators, I don't think it holds water, because everywhere where freedom comes, everywhere where people demand their freedom, the price is always paid. The price is paid in the form of people getting arrested, people getting beaten, and sometimes blood being shed. It's unfortunate, it's very sad, but that's the stark reality of freedom. If we think as Zimbabweans that freedom is going to come to us freely, freedom is just going to come just like that, we are going to get it on a silver plate, I think we are fooling ourselves. There is no way that that regime is going to give us freedom through an election. They've told us, Mutsvangwa has told us, a number of ZANU-PF people, they've told us that you never get freedom, you never free Zimbabwe, you never get to rule Zimbabwe through the ballot, through the pen. They've said it. I know we don't want to hear that. I know we get angry about that, but I'm telling you, that's the stark reality. If we do not stand up for Zimbabwe, if we do not do something on our own, if we do not throw away our fear and get in the streets and demand that Emerson Mnangagwa goes away, I am telling you, I'm so sorry to tell you that the situation will continue. The status quo will continue. Emerson Mnangagwa will continue to loot the economy using his sons or with his sons and his cronies. They will do that until Jesus comes. If we do not throw away our fear. We'll play some videos from Kenya here, and then we'll go to Nyamasus. So as you can see, that's live gunfire being shot at the people in Kenya, and they did not retreat, they did not run away, they kept going. This is bravery at its best. Toita sei nyamasvisha kuti tisviko pane zviri kuitwa nemakenyans. Takazvarwa zvakasiyana nevamwe here isusu. Sei tichisvika patasvika apa and we don't do anything. But the Kenyans, just because of taxes, isusu tinobirwa ma-billions nema-billions, and we remain in our houses. An election is stolen and we remain in our houses. Our members of parliament are even illegally withdrawn and we remain in our houses. It kills me, it pains me. How do you feel?
It also pains me, but the situation with Kenyans and ours is almost the same. But the difference, as we look at what the Kenya did during the previous week, is they spoke with one voice. Because the government tried to impose a finance bill without consulting with the masses, and they tried to manipulate using their legislative board, and the parliament approved the bill and was waiting to be assented by the President William Ruto. But the people were not in support of the bill because it gives the government to tax vulnerable people who are employed, which makes their lives unbearable. So the good part with the Kenyans, they mobilized themselves. If you look at the Kenyans, the most people who participated in these demonstrations were the Generation Z or Zoomers. We are talking about those youth who are aged 12 to 26 or 30 years. They were the most people who participated in these demonstrations. Yes, there were other people from all walks of life, like the clerks or the church leaders. They also take part, as we witnessed some of the members of the Catholics. They were on the streets giving support, the demonstrators water. We also witnessed the members of parliament. They come out of the parliament, they went on the street to demonstrate with the people. We also witnessed even the members of the civil service, which are the members of government workers, like from the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Justice. We also found them participated in this demonstration. So it shows when the Kenyans demonstrated, they were fighting for the benefit of each and every Kenyan without putting their tribalism or partisan politics. There was no partisan politics, there was no tribalism. The people of Kenya were spoken with one voice. So I learned as Zimbabweans that situation in Zimbabwe is affecting every person, whether you are a member of ZANU-PF, whether you are a member of the civils, the military, ZRP, whether you are a member of a certain church organization, every person is affected by the situation in Zimbabwe, whereby the country resources are looted by few individuals who are boasting on the media that they are millionaires or billionaires, while they don't have any company that you can say they own this company. And you find out those looters, they are supported by the regime. So people of Zimbabwe, they should learn from this demonstration from the Kenyans that we as Zimbabweans, we can do it more than what they did. Because we as Zimbabweans, we suffered enough. We as people, we have more power than the people who call themselves they are our leaders. And mind you, dictators, the only language that the dictators understand is street protest. They don't understand what you write on the Twitter. They don't understand what we call let's sit down and talk. They don't understand those languages. They understand street protest. They know that people have got power. So as Zimbabweans, we must have one voice. We must demonstrate, we must show the regime that we are not happy because we have suffered enough. Enough is enough.
Yes, I totally agree with you. As Zimbabweans, we need to stand up for Zimbabwe. And that's what Peter Mutasa is saying. Peter Mutasa is the former president of the Workers' Union Movement, ZCTU. He is speaking up and he is urging people to speak out and to speak out loud and at the same time stand up for Zimbabwe. He has started a program that will begin this coming week where you'll be urging Zimbabweans, mobilizing Zimbabweans to unite, to come together and stand up against the regime, stand up against corruption, stand up against the mismanagement of funds in government, stand up against Emerson Mnangagwa and his sons and cronies that have personalized the government purse. They've personalized the Reserve Bank itself. They've personalized even our resources. And Peter Gift Mutasa is saying we need to stand up. And you're going to hear more on this program tomorrow. Don't miss out. Change Radio will be talking to Peter Gift Mutasa so that he unpacks everything that he has. You know Peter Gift Mutasa, you know his history in the labor movement when he was ZCTU. The biggest demonstrations that we have ever had in Zimbabwe happened when the ZCTU called for stayaways, called for strikes, and those were the demonstrations that moved Robert Mugabe then, that moved even Emerson Mnangagwa in his early days. It was ZCTU, and I can tell you it was Peter Mutasa who was at the helm of the ZCTU. I know that the man is a comrade, he is a soldier, he is a fighter, and he leads from the front. When he says, this is what we are doing, that's what he does. I'm not saying he has said he has called for a demonstration. No, all he has said is he has released a statement. We're going to play that statement here. I don't know if we have it or Leo has it, where he is urging Zimbabweans to stand up against the regime and speak out loud against Emerson Mnangagwa. And I think that's exactly the direction we should be taking. There is no other way. It's only the high road. It's only that dangerous narrow road with thorns and stones and everything. That's the only road to freedom. The road to freedom is never through tarred roads. It's never through highways. It's always through the bad roads, always through something that is painful. And we as Zimbabweans have to be prepared to endure that. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not seeing that at the moment. But that's where we have to get, folks, if we are to free Zimbabwe. Other than that, then it will be the next generation that will be that will try to free Zimbabwe. So let's just get this. Let's just get this in our minds. If we do not stand up, like Peter Mtasa is saying, we are never going to free Zimbabwe. Through an election, tiri kunyeperana. Nyamazvizva, inosununguka here Zimbabwe nema elections.
I don't think so. Zimbabwe, my elections, kunyepa. Because as you look even the way our elections are conducted, let's look at the board that is running elections. 7 commissioners, 4 to 5 of those commissioners are close relatives of ZANU-PF political bureau members. You find out Tinana Mohaji is there, Tinana Mpofu Arimo, Tinama Muna Mangwana Irimo, Tinama Shava, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Arimuzeki is a commission. Then you expect that that type of institution will deliver free and fair elections. Nada. Then you find out even the ZEC itself is compromised because there are people who are seconded to ZEC, who are serving members of the military. So you find out the ZEC is a sub organization or organ of ZANU-PF regime, and it's directed from ZANU-PF headquarters. One thing that I want to tell the people of Zimbabwe is the unfortunate thing in our country is run by dictators, including that board which is called the Joint Own Command, which are members of the defense forces or security sectors. That board is unconstitutional. There's no piece of legislation in our constitution that shows that we have such a board or institution in our country, but it's something that was designed to kudzvanyirira vanhu vemuzimbabwe because ndo vanotonga, ndo vanenge vachipa masimba vadzvanyiriri. Because in our constitution we have got what is called National Security Council, though it constitutional board. So if I find Zimbabwe, freedom comes with a price. So I think my elections because this one free and fair or a level ground with all the participants in the election can have access to media. They can have their rallies free and fair. Only one part is allowed to have access to the media. They have access to hold their rallies without notifying even the police. So yeah, unfortunately, that is what the people of Zimbabwe are fighting for. We must fight for our freedom.
Yes, we have to fight for our freedom. Nobody is going to do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves as Zimbabweans. Unfortunately, we have not done enough in as far as action is concerned. And I'll keep repeating the bad news, the sad news, what people don't want to hear, that if we do not step up You know, I was in Zimbabwe during the elections, and we were talking with others that this is the time to get in the streets right now. You know, we are seeing the shenanigans that ZANU-PF is doing when they delayed giving out the ballot papers and the voting materials in Harare, a stronghold of President Chamisa. You know, it was very deliberate. It was not a coincidence. It was not by mistake. It was by design. You could tell that ZANU-PF was obviously up to something. And we were saying, let's do this, let's get in the streets. But of course, nothing happened. The election results were announced, and we could tell, we could see, everyone could tell that this was there was a big anomaly. Even Emerson Mnangagwa today, we don't know how many votes he garnered in each and every province. The traditional way of announcing results, where the presidential results are announced province by province, or district by district, voting district by voting district. Nothing like that was done, because you could tell that people simply replaced the figures. They simply wrote down numbers. There was nothing. There was no counting that was done. Obviously, President Chamisa won that election, you know, by a wide margin, by a landslide. But the military regime, using ZEC, using Chigumba, just put the results, the numbers that they wanted. Even today, they can't even account for that number. You remember they made mistakes several
Masuza, are you there?
Yes, Ndiribo.
Yeah, please take the mic. Like Chief is having network issues.
Yeah. So yeah, things are not well in our country. We as Zimbabweans, we should practice our constitutional right. As long as it's constitutional right, we have to practice it, because it's our country. We have to build our country to progress like what the other progressive African countries are doing. We should have institutions that serve the people of Zimbabwe, not the few elites. As you know, people are not happy because they are not affording education, health services. If you look at our health systems, they are broken. You can't find even any paracetamol at our public hospitals. But a lot of people, they are looting our country resources. They are buying expensive cars. They are buying expensive houses, whilst the majority of people are suffering each and every day. So I think people, this is the time. This is the time to fight, to demonstrate, to show the regime that we are not happy. They should understand our plight. Because people in August 2023, people, they spoke what they want, they choose their leaders, but the regime destroyed everything. Now the people, they don't have any representation even in the House of Assembly, because the House of Assembly is now manned by imposters who are financed by the rogue regime. So the people should raise their voices so that the government, the regime, must understand what the people want. People want change. People want freedom. People want good lives, education. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Nyamasisa. There, I think there was a
Yeah.
call coming that
Okay.
that disturbed my what I was saying. But anyway, we are getting closer to the end of our program, and one of the major things that is happening this week, all roads will be leading to the Midlands, Lower Gweru area, Boneni Nguve's home side or place where he was buried. You remember Boneni Nguve, our comrade, our champion, who was stabbed to death at a rally in Kwekwe, leading towards the 2023 elections. So the comrades, the champions, including those in the United Kingdom, in America, in Zimbabwe, put together some money and they bought a tombstone for our champion. And they also put together money. I'm told that UK put as much as $800 towards the preparations for the big event that is happening tomorrow. More than 5,000 people are expected to congregate at Boneni Nuve's homestead. And what this does is it shows the people, Boneni Nuve's relatives and friends, that the movement, the alternative cares. We do not just, have our comrades affected or killed or arrested, and then we leave them like that. The same way that people are rallying to raise money so that we'll be able to pay bail for Senator Timber and the 78 others, is the same way that people are rallying together to help the champions that would have been killed or murdered by the regime. So we want to thank you, those that are donating, those that are helping, those that are making the big day that is coming tomorrow in Lower Gweru, Boneni Nuve's homestead. Change Radio will be there. We'll be giving you live coverage if the network permits. But one of our champions, Tunga Madzorere, will be there live, capturing the moment. It's a very important moment where we remember our heroes, our champions. So look forward to that. And again, something to look forward to. As I said, Change Radio will be having a discussion with former ZCTU President Peter Gift Mutasa tomorrow, 8 p.m. Zimbabwean time. Don't miss that. We'll be talking about standing up for Zimbabwe. He is encouraging Zimbabweans to stand up against corruption, against the regime, against repression, against arbitrary arrests, against the looting that we are seeing every day. So we'll see you tomorrow in those programs. Thank you so much to everyone who has been here. I see a lot of people on Twitter. We were also live on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok. We are also there. Thank you to our valued viewers and listeners across the world. We appreciate you. Let's keep liking what Change Radio is publicizing and sharing too, because sharing is important. You are making aware of someone who would not have seen the information. And also subscribers, please do subscribe. There's always a link for you to subscribe to Change Radio, whether you're listening live or you're going to listen to this broadcast afterwards. It doesn't matter whether it's $1 something, $2 something, any subscription helps. I tell you myself, I subscribe to many online newspapers so that I keep them going, because it's just $1 or $2, and if those $2 are 20, it becomes something. If they're 100, you're able now to make sure that you continue broadcasting with journalists on the ground, qualified journalists that we have to take care of, that we have to give allowances so that they continue to give us programs, write news, report on things that are happening on the ground. So your support is always welcome. Thank you very much. God bless you. And God bless Zimbabwe.
Can we gather in a rally speaking about our hospitals, that corruption must end? We must have our 1.8 billion annually, focusing on rebuilding our health sector. Can we gather in a rally speaking about our education sector, that we need to get every cent towards our education? Can we gather together to talk about our roads, to talk about water, to talk about sewer, to talk about food provision, to talk about social protection? Can we gather to talk about decent wages for doctors, for nurses, for teachers, and for every other worker who is keeping this country going? Can we gather to stop corruption? We think at the Crisis in Zimbabwe Coalition this is achievable. May we stand up and fight for Zimbabwe.
That was Peter Gift Mutasa.
Show.